White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will hold a briefing. The world will be watching as today marks the president's 100th day in office. They'll be highlighting President Trump's major focus, cutting wasteful spending, tariffs, and his push to make America rich again. Guest O'Leary Ventures chairman Kevin O'Leary joins us now. Kevin, great to see you. Your thoughts? I know you've been a stalwart against China and the trade imbalance. You want this thing solved. But what else do you want to see done or mentioned today?
Well, I've put the whole tariff thing into two baskets. The trading partners, which we've detailed in quite a bit lately. Everybody in the market wants to see one deal done, and I think India is the most interesting because it opens up the car market finally. There's been 110% tariffs on U.S. car product going into India for a long time. If we go to reciprocal 10% or zero, that opens it up, and because there's a lot of product we could sell in India, and we'd have a more balanced trade there. But the thing would be, it would signal to the market the deals are going to get done. And I predict the market would go up 1,000 points with an India signature whenever that happens. China, different story. It's not about tariffs. It's about IP theft, access to their legal system, trade disputes, the World Trade Organization. Their companies listed on New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are not compliant. I have to pay millions in compliance fees. They pay nothing. They're not compliant with GAAP. Why is that? Let's solve that problem. So if you look at the litany of issues with China, tariffs are just one thing. So it's been a long time since any administration anywhere has taken on the Chinese. They built their economy stealing IP, and I'm one of the guys they stole it from, and I'm a little pissed, so I'm done with that. I want it to stop.
Do you remember Lawrence went out to, where did you go? Wisconsin? You went to the steel mill, yep. And they kept saying regulations. We're tired of all these regulations. And Scott Bessent, he addressed that yesterday. Listen to this soundbite, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
We've got a three-legged stool here. It's trade, it's tax, it's deregulation. President Trump has come out of the blocks roaring. And I think this is something new for the American people. He's given 1-2 press conferences a day, an incredible level of transparency. Contrast that with the previous administration, where the president, we're not quite sure who was running policy. Right. Likely not President Biden, and we are moving forward for the American people, and it's very, very exciting. We're going to continue to make the U.S. the best destination for capital in the world.
So, Kevin, trade, tax, deregulation, those are the focus.
When you deregulate, you stimulate capital, because capital comes into the path of least resistance, particularly large projects. One of the reasons sovereign wealth does not come is when they don't see the path to getting a deal done. And so when you get a lot of red tape, particularly at the federal level, money just kind of stays away. So if you can erase the federal regulation, particularly on these large CapEx, job-creating projects, money will come. And, the United States of America still attracts more than 50% of every dollar invested worldwide. And that is the American dream. The number one job of the President of the United States is to protect the American dream, because the American dream is the number one export of America. It's not energy, it's not technology, it's the American dream.
Which is the possibility you can do anything.
Exactly. And so every president's mandate has to be, does this advance the American dream and keep us number one in terms of attracting capital? That's what Trump has to do right, and I think so far he's done a good job.
We talk to Kevin all the time via satellite and other modes of communication, but it's your chance now to ask some questions. Kevin, right over there, Nina has a question for you. Go ahead. Nina.
Hi, Kevin. I know the president's kind of putting the lean on the Fed chair to lower rates, interest rates. I'm a banker, and I know a lot of people don't like bankers, but what do you feel about that? Do you think he should keep doing that? I still see people borrowing money. We're still pushing first-time home buyers. They're still borrowing money. They're still buying houses. What do you think about that?
So first of all, I forgive you for being a banker.
Okay.
All right?
It's been a long career. It's been good to me.
The market wants an independent Fed. Every administration, every executive office has always jawboned the Fed to lower rates. The fact that the Fed remains independent makes capital markets feel better about investing in treasuries in America. And so, I understand the pressure any Fed chair is under, but the reason capital comes here is because of that check and balance between the executive and the Fed. I don't want to see the Fed fired, and either does the market.
Kevin, let's get Jennifer in real quickly before we go. Jennifer,
hi,
what's your
Kevin.
question
Nice to
for
meet
Kevin?
you. I just have a question regarding tariffs. the income that we're receiving from the tariffs right now, how likely is it that they'll offset our federal income tax?
Highly unlikely. You can't replace income tax with tariffs unless you're charging more than 20%. That's too much. It's inflationary. Tariffs are short-term weapons to rebalance trade. India is a great example. They've had 110% tariffs on automotive going into India, and now the Indians have come to the White House and said, okay, let's redo this. We'll work out a deal. And if we end up with 0 tariffs with India or 10% each way, that's a good thing. But tariffs in themselves will not solve the deficit because they just cause prices to go up. I think Trump knows that, but it's great short-term weaponry, and wow, is it ever working right now. The whole world keeps showing up at the White House.
How would the market react if they announced the framework or a deal done with India?
Well, it's remarkable, but on Saturday at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, I think the White House leaked the fact that they're the closest on India. And then you saw Bassett come right out Monday morning saying, watch this space. What he's saying is, we're getting close. If they pen a deal with India, that'll become the template for all the other countries. Boom, the market goes up. We all want to see that. It's time. No administration's ever tried to negotiate 60 trade deals at once. I mean, this is crazy chicken stuff. But if you're going to go for it, go for it. But get one deal done. You only need India, the EU, England, Switzerland, and you've got 70% of the trade right there.
Yeah. And he's going to be at the podium at the White House in 1 hour. We'll see that live. Kevin, great job.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.